Young and the Restless spoilers reveal the pressures Sharon faces at the urging of Faith, who has faced many tragedies in her life, now on the brink of collapse once again. She is caught in a spiral of guilt, after Heather's death puts the entire community on her shoulders. Sharon has gone through painful moments when she doesn't even remember what happened, and now she is drowning in fear, haunted by the idea that she is the one who killed Heather. For Sharon's daughter, Faith, the situation becomes too much to bear. The young girl has witnessed her mother's mental breakdown, and now, with the love and respect she has for her mother, Faith cannot sit still any longer. She knows that if Sharon doesn't face the truth, things will only get worse. It's time for Sharon to make the biggest decision of her life: continue to hide or bravely face justice. Faith's advice: Sharon's only way out? Faith loves her mother unconditionally, but she is also a realist. With what she knows about Heather's case, Faith believes that her mother was involved in the death, whether intentionally or not. However, Faith believes more than anyone that Sharon still has a chance to redeem herself and receive leniency from the law. For Faith, Sharon's surrender is not only a way to reduce her sentence, but also a way for her mother to find peace of mind. In an emotional moment, Faith sits with her mother and advises Sharon that she should surrender. She emphasizes that facing the truth, even though it is difficult, will bring Sharon peace. Faith believes that honesty and courage will help her mother receive leniency from the law, and more importantly, it is the only way Sharon can save her family relationship and not live in fear forever. Faith, with her maturity and sensitivity, saw the consequences if Sharon continued to hide. She did not want her mother to live in fear and torment. Faith insisted that the truth would always come out, and it was better for Sharon to step up and face it herself, instead of letting the law come to find her. Sharon, torn between guilt and fear. For Sharon, Faith's advice was like a knife cutting into her heart. She knew her daughter was right, but the fear and insecurity in her heart made it difficult for her to make a decision. Sharon had been living with the haunting guilt for weeks, and she believed that she might have actually killed Heather. Accepting this was a terrible ordeal for her, as every night she was tormented by vague images of that night's events. But turning herself in was not only about facing the truth about Heather's death, but also about facing Sharon's troubled past. She has been through some dark times in the past, and now the prospect of facing the legal system again terrifies her. Sharon doesn't want to lose everything she has built, and that makes her hesitate to listen to Faith's advice. Sharon is also afraid of the reaction of everyone around her, especially Nick, Faith's father, and her close friends in Genoa City. Will they forgive her, or will turning herself in cost her all her precious relationships? The decisive moment. The situation becomes more tense as Sharon not only faces an internal struggle but also has to face increasing pressure from the police. The evidence against Sharon is mounting, and Faith's advice to turn herself in only highlights the urgency of the situation. Sharon knows that if she doesn't make a decision soon, she could be arrested, which would not only ruin her chances of clemency but also disappoint Faith. In a heartbreaking moment, Sharon realizes that Faith has become a more mature and thoughtful person than she thought. She sees the wisdom in her daughter's advice, but the decision to turn herself in is not an easy one. Sharon feels caught between her love for her daughter and her fear of the future. She knows that turning herself in is not only a legal action, but also a release for her own soul, but it takes a lot of courage to step forward. The ending opens many questions. Will Sharon take Faith's advice and go to the police to take responsibility for her actions? Or will she continue to run away, sinking deeper into a spiral of guilt and torment? Sharon's decision will not only affect her own future, but also her relationship with Faith, as well as her entire family. Christine Blair and Phyllis Summers have had a tense and contentious relationship for years in Genoa City. They have fought, argued, and even tried to destroy each other in the past. However, life has its twists and turns, and now they are faced with a unique situation that may force them to put aside their personal conflicts. Phyllis' son, Daniel Romalotti, is in serious trouble. Not only has he lost the love of his life, Heather, but Sharon Newman is blaming him for her death. Daniel finds himself in a difficult situation, with all the evidence seemingly stacked against him. Heather's death has sent shockwaves through Genoa City, and although Sharon was unconscious at the tragic moment, no one knows for sure whether she was actually responsible for her death. Sharon believes she is guilty, and this fear pushes her over many moral boundaries. She does not hesitate to frame Daniel, planting evidence that makes him the prime suspect in the case. In this situation, Phyllis, despite her strong and somewhat impulsive personality, is determined to protect her son at all costs. In her eyes, Daniel is innocent and does not deserve to suffer such pain. Phyllis can use any cunning tactic to prove Daniel's innocence, even if it means facing Sharon, who has become her greatest enemy at this time. A powerful common goal. But can Phyllis do it alone? She knows that she needs help from someone with stronger legal abilities to protect her son from false accusations. And that is when Christine, who used to be Phyllis's most formidable opponent, becomes the only name that comes to her mind. Christine, a sharp and experienced lawyer, also has a special interest in Daniel. Despite her past animosity towards Phyllis, her love for Daniel and her belief in his innocence may be the bridge between them. Christine is a strict law-abiding woman who works on the principles of justice. But she also knows that justice is not always easy to achieve, especially when faced with sophisticated schemes and tricks like Sharon's. Phyllis, while impulsive and unorthodox, has a strong instinct to protect her family. This makes Christine respect her somewhat, even though she dislikes this woman. Christine may not like Phyllis, but she cannot deny the deep love Phyllis has for Daniel. Phyllis' maternal instincts make her a determined mother who will do anything to protect her son. Phyllis, in her desperate efforts to save Daniel, may share with Christine her theories about Sharon planting false evidence to incriminate him. Phyllis knows that only Christine, with her intelligence and talent, can help her uncover the truth. Although they have very different approaches to the problem, they share a common goal: to prove Daniel's innocence and ensure that he goes free. While Phyllis is willing to use shady and sometimes unorthodox tactics, Christine has complete faith in the law and the rules of the courtroom. This creates great tension when working together. Christine does not want to make the mistake of getting caught up in Phyllis's machinations, but she also understands that Phyllis has sharp intuition and may have valuable information. Phyllis knows that Sharon is trying to hide something, and she wants to prove it at all costs. Christine's biggest concern is the possibility that Phyllis could go too far, damaging both Daniel's case and herself. But deep down, she also knows that Phyllis is only doing what any mother would do, fighting for her son. The struggle between morality and love leaves Christine uncertain. She may hate Phyllis for what happened in the past, but the love they both have for Daniel has become the only bridge between them. Can Christine put aside her personal hatred to do what is right for Daniel? Phyllis, too, is slowly realizing that to save her son, she needs someone as strong and capable as Christine on her side. She understands that not everything can be solved by strength or cunning, but sometimes law and justice are needed. This makes Phyllis decide to cooperate with Christine, even if it means temporarily putting aside her pride. Sharon is the public enemy, meanwhile, is still struggling with guilt and fear of being discovered. Even though she doesn't fully remember what she did the night Heather died, she believes she's responsible for her death. Can they win over Sharon, or will Sharon continue to cross all boundaries to hide the truth?